Welcome to Module 2 about the copy needs of info marketers. This is frankly a complicated module that may throw a lot of unfamiliar things and terminology at you and may even feel overwhelming at first. I can only encourage going back through the module several times, consulting the vocabulary references provided, and taking your time getting full understanding of this peeling back of the curtain of what the information marketing industry is all about. Understanding all these needs and being able to intelligently discuss them with clients is key to you doing well in this industry. Most info marketers' needs can be divided into three categories: front-end, back-end, and deliverables. A list of many of the items in each of the three categories, as well as some samples, has been included in the written material accompanying this module, and you'll be given samples of sales copy for all of them in Module 4. Remember, by the way, that in Module 3 we'll delve into finding and getting clients. Then in Module 4, return to actually writing copy to meet the needs of these clients we're looking at here in Module 2. Let's take them in order. So front end refers to the acquisition of new customers. For many info marketers, this begins with lead generation. That is essentially the finding of needles in haystacks. Getting qualified and likely buyers to step up, raise their hands, and identify themselves so that marketing and selling resources can be concentrated on just them to the exclusion of all others. You may have heard of the term permission marketing, generally credited to Seth Godin, or you may be familiar with my version called welcome guest marketing from my annoying pest versus welcome guest story I started using back in 1979. The premise is simple: to be invited in and asked to tell your sales story by an interested prospect known to be capable of, or at least probably capable of, buying, rather than broadly telling your whole story to a big population. Good lead generation can sometimes merely be about offering bait to a big population and inviting those interested to raise their hands, as in this example of a trade journal ad from an info marketer to the legal profession, Ben Glass, that you're looking at right now. Or it can be about calling out to a specific prospect within a population based on who you know to be the highest probability prospect. Such a message typically addresses who the advertiser wants to attract, as well as who he does not want to waste time with. One of the finest and funniest such ads is the full-page newspaper ad the great copywriter Gary Halbert once wrote to attract a woman for himself. I read it aloud on my Midas Touch selling audio program published by Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle at dankennedy.com. But an info marketing example is shown here. Obviously, both things can and often are combined into one: the call out to a specific prospect who fits a particular stated criteria and a piece of bait to reward response. Lead generation advertising is a staple part of most info marketing businesses, and for those that are continuously feeding them from the same haystack, there's a need for frequent creative modifying of the lead generation message and or the offered bait. Some lead generation messages or campaigns can be evergreen or evergreen in rotation. Others live briefly, wear out, and must be replaced with the next new and different one again and again and again. The bait itself, typically offered by info marketers, is free information delivered via reports, white papers, books, CDs, DVDs, teleseminars, webinars, actual preview seminars and lectures, and combinations thereof. These must be conceptualized to be irresistible to their intended audiences, and these must be written just as the lead generation advertising itself must be written. Thus, a lead generation project can require both sales copywriting and content writing from the same writer or from two different writers. For the lead generation campaign I developed for my client, Matt Zagula, in the financial services industry, I not only had magazine ads, direct mail, and web copy to write, I had the book being given away to co-write with the client. Info marketers must be able to attract the right leads from every media available to them: trade journals or hobbyist or mainstream magazines and other print media, direct mail, radio, TV, paid online ad media, search engine optimization, websites, social media, exhibiting at events, etc., etc. And the need for ideas, for copy, and for bait to do this with is endless. the value of doing it quite high. So this is a very good area of opportunity for both copywriters and content writers, or even teams of writers. Next comes lead conversion, or new customer acquisition. This is the most difficult of all the copywriting opportunities, and it can be the most profitable to the copywriter, because most info marketers value new customers more than any other prize. Leads cost money to generate, so leads must be converted and otherwise monetized, or the info marketer's business cannot grow or even sustain itself, because every such business has unstoppable attrition. A newsletter publisher losing 33% of his subscribers every year will be out of business in just 3 years without continually bringing on new subscribers at a pace exceeding 33% of his base every year. If that client wants to double year to year, he needs to bring in new subscribers equal to 133% of his present number of subscribers every year. Just about every other sort of info marketing business lives the same reality. They must have leads, and they must convert leads. There are 4 basic kinds of conversion, thus 4 basic kinds of conversion copy. Number 1, immediate conversion. Number 2, short-term follow-up conversion. Number 3, conversion over time. And number 4, conversion by reinvigorating accumulated unresponsive leads. Immediate conversion refers to the sales letter, online video, or more typically short-term series of such things intended to make the first sale to the new lead. There is, of course, an offer for a book, a subscription, course, seminar, or some other product, so there is a sales pitch for it. Short-term follow-up conversion is what happens to leads who fail to convert quickly for the original offer. They may get a second series of communiques selling a different offer, or they may get driven to a different media, such as a live webinar or a teleseminar, where the sale is attempted again. Conversion over time refers to the fact that many info marketers have a very long series of follow-up steps that continue to essentially nag the prospect about what he has stubbornly refused to buy. This often relies heavily on email and low-cost offline tools like postcards, and often features success stories and testimonials. That message may sound like, "It's the 91st day since you first expressed interest in my Magic Beans profit system. During those same 91 days, here's what Bill and Mary Martin did with the system." Some info marketers also use free e-zines or other online media presented as interesting content rather than a continuation of an endless pitch to stay in touch with these unconverted leads. Conversion by reinvigorating accumulated unresponsive leads. It stands to reason that many info marketers accumulate much larger numbers of unconverted leads than they do converted customers. Over time, a 20-to-1 to 40-to-1 ratio is not uncommon, the byproduct of conversion percentages of 5% to as low as 2%. Even those with high conversion, say 20%, will have 80 leftover unconverted leads for every 20 they sell per 100, a 4-to-1 ratio. Thus, if that info marketer sells 200 units a month, or 2,400 units a year, at year's end, he'll have 9,600 accumulated unconverted leads. When we get to it in Module 4, I'll talk about why these leads expressed interest and do not buy, as those reasons are the basis for successful campaigns aimed at these accumulated unconverted leads. For now, just the mechanics. These leads can be periodically reinvigorated with a fresh campaign, or by doing lead generation into this list to get some to raise their hands and express interest, and then running them through the entire marketing system as if they were new leads, or by driving them to a catalog where they can pick and choose cafeteria style from many different info products rather than saying yes or no to a bundled package as in the original offer. This is a very important area of opportunity for the copywriter, because most info marketers do a poor job at reinvigorating and monetizing accumulated unconverted leads. There is a lot of money locked up in this dormant asset just waiting to be liberated. In some cases, especially for the relatively new copywriter, this can be worth doing purely on a percentage, entirely paid on results, foregoing the fee in order to begin a client relationship. If you can examine the client's business and come up with a strategy to pull new profits from old leads he's given up on, write the copy to do it, and produce, you will have that client's attention. Now, if you look at the diagram sent to you in hard copy and shown here, you'll see this front-end system and items numbered 1, 2, 3, or 4 to match up with the 4 kinds of copy needs we've just gone through. There are a few key things to keep in mind about this from the freelancer standpoint. First, some info marketers are extremely sophisticated about this and may very well have very evolved front-end marketing that mirrors this diagram or even goes beyond it, in which case your opportunities will mostly be of the beat the control variety, trying to make what's in place work better or trying to buck up sagging results. But others are not this sophisticated at all, and they will have parts missing from their system, in which case you'll be bringing new and additional opportunities to better monetize their leads to the table. Second, some will be using a variety of media throughout their system, but others will be lazily and foolishly relying on one media. Your best opportunity is with the client who is or can be moved to using multiple media in multi-step sequences. Third, to be candid, you may or may not be up to the challenges of writing front-end sales copy. Converting cold first-time prospects to buyers isn't easy, but is absolutely critical to the client. This is like being an ER doc. There's no margin for error. A 0.5% difference in response can be the make or break, profit or loss, continue or quit difference. You dare not underestimate the difficulty of this task and should take it on only if you feel sufficiently knowledgeable and skilled and are willing to work very hard to get it right. You need to know how to sell and sell hard in print. Also, more so with front end than anything else, it's important for your interests and the client's to push the client into split tests and test matrices to test sales theme and copy variables and offer and price variables. Some years ago, I was writing copy for a company marketing a subscription product to dentists with a classic giant bribe pile of books, bonus reports, audio products, and other resources as the bonus. I convinced them to split test both ways, meaning selling the subscription with everything else as bonuses, but flipping and selling everything else as the mastery system product with the subscription as bonus. And it's a good thing I did. The second approach won by wide margin and allowed repeatedly mailing the entire dental industry. The first approach's results were so much weaker, only small, carefully selected segments of the industry could have been mailed. This gets into client and project management, dealt with in depth in my Business of Copywriting Academy training program, which is available from AWAI if you don't already have it. This diagram gives you a way to look at and understand your client's front-end marketing and see what he is and isn't doing. Now I want to quickly talk you through an example company utilizing the whole diagram before we move on to the other 2 categories of copywriting needs. This publisher generates leads by a variety of means, all driven to his website with a double squeeze page, thus email only capture first, the full contact information capture second, ostensibly to send a free DVD. This means there will be 2 different lead and ultimately accumulating unconverted lead lists, one with only email addresses, one with full contact info. Immediately, all site visitors are moved after contact info capture to a video-assisted online sales letter that attempts immediate conversion. Those not buying from it get short-term conversion sequences, some email only, others email plus mail plus telemarketing. All failing to buy from that are plugged into a weekly email newsletter, essentially forever, and by it invited to teleseminars occurring every 2 weeks on different topics, but always ending with pitch for the original offer. Every 4 months, the accumulated unconverted leads are put into a different campaign with online and offline components occurring over 6 weeks, presenting a different, lower-priced starter offer. Every 12 months, the accumulated unconverted leads for which full contact information exists receive a multi-product catalog, a 75% discount coupon good toward any one item in the catalog, and a threat letter telling them if they make no purchase, they'll be evicted from the list. As you can see, such a system requires a lot of copy to get it set up and stocked to begin with. Copy tweaking often as different steps results sag or timing-related messages need altered. Attempts to beat the existing controls results are tested, and more gets done with the accumulated unconverted leads. Each new front-end initiative by an info marketer births a need for a lot of copywriting. For example, when a client of mine decided to come at his niche market differently with a new free book offer, that meant the book itself needed written, a trade journal ad, a version of that ad as oversized postcard, the website people requesting the free book were driven to, scripts for a series of online videos that those requesting the book were offered, those flipping to a second website with long sales letter for the client's original course, a complex direct mail package sent with the book to sell that original course. Then follow up to those not immediately converted, and 25 weekly emails for extended follow-up. For the time being, we can set the diagram aside and move from front-end to back-end needs. We've been talking about leads. Now we'll be talking about customers. Very few info marketers can make profits from front-end customer acquisition or from a single sale to a new customer. Their profit is locked up inside each new customer to be withdrawn after the first sale has begun relationship. Think of each customer as a big piggy bank full of money, but you don't want to break it open with a hammer and slaughter it, because if kept alive and healthy, it has the capacity to keep making more money in its belly. Your client must coax it into disgorging money for him time and time again and keep the piggy happy and interested in him for as long a time as possible. What we call retention or longevity of the customer is very important, whether they are in a base monthly continuity and automatic charge arrangement or not. They can't disgorge money if they wander off. So the back end is about retention, often about ascension, and always about repeat or frequent purchasing. A lot of copy needs are attached to ascension. A lot of copy needs are attached to frequent purchasing. First, ascension. Here you'll see an ascension ladder for Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle that is actually shown to members. Next, a slightly more complicated one that is for internal use. Each step requires a blizzard of copy. Ascension is where the real money is made in many info marketing businesses for several key reasons. One, ascension improves retention. Without revealing inside stats, I can tell you that Glazer Kennedy members who upgrade to higher membership levels, starting with Diamond, stay with us much longer than do Gold members. 2. Ascended customers tend to be more responsive to more offers, so their year-to-year and lifetime value is much higher. Third, it is not nearly as costly to sell to the most responsive customers as it is to the broad population of customers, so they are more profitable assets. Not every info marketer understands all this, by the way, so you may need to teach it in order to create ascension-related copywriting opportunities. Ascension offers to customers can include move up to a higher level of membership, a prepaid longer-term subscription well in advance of necessary renewal, a step up from one subscription to a bundle of subscriptions, upgrade from basic to a premium product or service, move from one to a bundle of services, attendance at an event, or participation in a coaching program or mastermind group. 2 of those you see your cable TV company trying with you all the time, but they aren't very good at it. One way to think about this is moving the customer to being a more committed and involved customer. Every one of these ascension possibilities has need for copywriting. Every one can be sold via newsletter inserts, solo sales letters making the full offer, lead generation into the house list to make them request information or tender an application to be permitted to ascend, marketing driving to teleseminars or webinars or online videos presenting the offer, each such campaign possibly utilizing multiple steps and multiple media. On the content writing side, it's important to remember that info marketers need to reinforce the benefit and importance of moving up their ladders at almost every turn. Second, Solo offers and new product launches. You want to remember this. A lot of info marketers have, quote, old, unquote, products they promoted thoroughly at one time but barely mention now, maybe only in catalogs, even though a lot of new customers have entered their list since it was last given feature treatment. That product and whatever copy was used to sell it before can be dusted off, polished up, and run at the list as if new, or under the laundry detergent industry's most favored claim, new and improved. Actually an oxymoron. Of course, if it's new, it never existed before, so it can't be improved. If it's improved, it exists, thus it can't be new. But we should never let such apparent conflicts get in the way of effective advertising. There are two related things true about most well-established info marketers. One, as I just described, they have dormant products that can be used for new solo offers. Two, they aren't bringing different solo offers to their lists as frequently as they profitably could. With email, there is an opt-out problem connected to too frequent delivery of different sales letters and offers that you and your client must handle carefully, although not too timidly. I have a client who basically went from offer of the month to offer of the week, worsened his month-to-month opt-out request rate by 25%, but improved his business's overall profits by 200%. A good trade. However, direct mail produces no such direct backlash. Of course, most marketers are most excited about bringing entirely new product offers to the forefront, and making sure you are the go-to copywriter for such launch promotions can bring you a lot of good assignments. Third, catalog copy. Fewer info marketers utilize traditional, full-fledged catalogs than should, but many do, and many more know they should but haven't because they haven't the time to create the catalog themselves, which is where you can step in. At bare minimum, an online catalog, or if you prefer web store, can be a great way to monetize stubbornly unconverted leads, monetize old product, possibly create media for the client to barter with other info marketers, and a welcome resource for current active customers. In most businesses, there is sufficient profit from a full-scale catalog to justify mailing print catalogs to present and past customers and sometimes accumulated unconverted leads. Dataless Books is a very successful traditional mail-order bookseller that uses print catalogs with good copy to sell books that might never interest readers without that copy and without getting customers to sit and browse through the catalog. Others dancing in this arena include specialists in niche and old books like Bud's Art Books. These and their brethren are true blue catalogers worth studying for basis of understanding. Info marketers are usually selling more complicated and pricier products, though, so often a product gets a page or two instead of a paragraph or two in catalogs. Of course, online, catalogs can be video assisted, just as Zappos.com, Ross Simons, and other e-commerce retailers do. I'll show you samples of catalog copy, just as I will samples of all the kinds of copy we're discussing in Module 4. You are welcome to go look at the Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle online catalog at dankennedy.com/store. As I record this, I believe it's in its 4th or 5th generation and scheduled for a major overhaul. Writing catalog copy is often a somewhat derivative exercise, so it can be very good work for the copywriter not yet ready for prime time and the most difficult sales writing. Most products going into an info marketer's catalog have already gone through a big product launch, sold solo with media, or sold via speech, for which a transcript can be had. Further, many products' first CD or first chapter features a reselling of the product. So there is a great deal of already tested and proven fodder for the shorter, tighter catalog copy. Fourth, event sales copy. For most info marketers, annual or biannual institutionalized events, special boot camps and conferences, and other seminars provide an outsized percentage of the business's net profits and are vital in retention and ascension of members. These events can represent from a few $100,000 to several $1 million in revenues, so the info marketer can afford to pay top dollar for everything affecting results, notably including the marketing of the event, which includes the copywriting. This is a specialization of mine, and over the years I've written hundreds of these campaigns, am routinely paid from $50,000 to as much as $150,000 plus royalties to do so, and have some clients who return year after year or event after event to have me help conceptualize the event and write the copy. Restaurant Marketing Systems was such a client for almost 10 years, and I did some of the most creative theme and elaborate campaigns for RMS that I've ever done. I also often bundle myself as a speaker and content provider and as a copywriter to give a client a turnkey event to market to his list. In Module 4, I'll include a sample of a sales letter I wrote in collaboration with a client, Cardell Media, for an event sold in the UK at which Chris Cardell and I were the speakers. I also write the main campaigns for both annual Glazer-Kennedy conferences, the Spring Super Conference, essentially a convention, and the Fall Info Summit, each rethemed every year. Each has a 4 to even 5 month marketing cycle, so you can usually see the online marketing for the next one at dankennedy.com, and if a member, you get the main direct mail package. These deserve your study. They are the most sophisticated in the industry. There are, of course, a great many info marketers who are not going to pay my fees, but do need help with this critically important copywriting. Some are small, some up and coming, some putting on their very first event, some simply not able to stomach my high compensation requirements, some unable to fit into my work schedule. There are a lot of these writing projects to be had, especially in the $2,500 to $10,000 fee or fee plus results pay range. If you can put butts in seats, you have a job waiting. If you become known for putting butts in seats, you'll have more work than you can handle. Of late, from about mid-2008 forward, the seminar portion of the info marketing industry has been wounded. Many info marketers have had to scale back their events, do fewer of them, or work harder and invest more to fill them, thanks to many factors: recession, specific recession impact in their niche, inconvenience of travel, as well as the prostitution of content and proliferation of free content on the internet. These headwinds adversely affecting a vital part of most info marketers' businesses makes the need for skilled copywriters working on seminar marketing all the more important. It has also sent info marketers into alternative deliverables like webinar series, live streaming of events for lesser fees, and more aggressive productization of and sale of products born by events. And all these create need for copy. Incidentally, there are dark forces adversely affecting the info marketing industry as a whole, discussed in a special report titled Gravitational Pull that was provided to No BS Info Marketing Letter subscribers recently, but before you had an opportunity to join the Information Marketing Association. I've included a copy in the written material with this module. It is a bit gloomy and doomy, but you should take it all in as definition of opportunity for you. Any industry in traumatic transition is always a good place for people with solutions and skills that can stand up to the challenges. New challenges push clients in new directions and to new allies, vendors, and advisors. That report, for you, is extension of this module's defining of the needs of info marketers that you can meet. One other type of seminar and seminar marketing requiring copy with high degree of difficulty, thus very valuable to clients, has to do with putting prospects into free preview seminars. This has been a staple of the How to Invest in Real Estate segment of the information marketing industry nonstop since the 1950s right to this week. You have undoubtedly seen everything from full-page newspaper ads to tear sheet mailers or tickets enclosed mailers to TV infomercials advertising such free seminars. Even Donald Trump has been in this business. But while most commonly used by the get-rich-in-real estate crowd, this is also used by other opportunity marketers and by many niche info marketers. I have or have had info marketer clients selling to real estate agents, to restaurant owners, to chiropractors, to dentists, to retailers, to mixed breed of small business owners, and even to recently bankrupt individuals, with road crews or preview seminar speakers putting on free seminars in dozens to hundreds of cities, filling those seats with all manner of marketing requiring high-powered direct response copywriting. I even owned a business of this nature once, Success Track Incorporated, which put well over 15,000 chiropractors, dentists, podiatrists, and veterinarians into free evening seminars where millions of dollars of info products were sold. Despite the obvious inefficiencies, this has not been supplanted by media, not even the internet, because in many cases, nothing works a fraction as well as physically gathering good prospects in a room with a skilled speaker and visible peer pressure to buy occurring. Nothing. These can be excellent beat-the-control writing opportunities. The results are very accurately measured and simple to measure in terms of cost per butt-in seat and quality of butt-in seat based on purchasing on site. Next, there is coaching sales copy. Coaching, like events, is a vitally important part of most info marketers' businesses because it has high fee and very high profit margin opportunity, can often be sold entirely by ascending already acquired customers, and candidly can often be sold live at events, negating the need for copy to sell it, for marketing campaigns to sell it, and costs in selling it. Having said that, though, there are still many info marketers who, in addition to or instead of selling their coaching programs or one-to-one coaching at their events, also do so periodically during the year, or once each year, or in some cases continuously, via lead generation into their own lists, sales letters and direct mail packages, audio-video materials, online presentations, webinars, and teleseminars. For most info marketers, coaching is sold as a bundle of different elements, often including a certain number of mastermind meetings or workshops or excursions during the year or term, a certain number of group teleconferences for question and answer, a number of teleseminars or webinars, access to one-to-one coaching, behind closed door online resources, offline deliverables, and even done-for-them services. These kind of coaching programs in business and professional niches typically sell for as low as $8,000 to as much as $50,000 or even more per year per person, with a median in the $20,000 neighborhood. Some add area exclusivity, a kind of non-franchise but franchise-like arrangement, and that can bump the price considerably higher. For many info marketers, with businesses of the $1 million to $3 million size, as much as 50% of the revenue and a bigger percentage of the profit comes from coaching. Since that is so, and each sale is a big ticket, clients are often amenable to and well served by elaborate selling packages, such as those sent in FedEx or priority mailboxes with 16 to 60-page sales letters, audio CDs, DVDs, attention-getting objects, and freemiums, and more. The other spot that many info marketers place and sell coaching programs and services is often to the brand new customer as a means of accelerating monetization of customers known to have limited lifespans and retention value, or out of economic necessity to accelerate the recovery of the high costs of customer acquisition. Again, this is very common with the invest in real estate folks, but not exclusive to them by any means. Often this kind of sales pitch is about getting the customer to a definitive outcome in a set, usually short period of time. In real estate investing, it's to their first done deal. In internet marketing, it's to point of a functioning e-commerce site with traffic and sales, or it is to the point of some finished work product. In coaching of business people to promote via public speaking, it's to a completely scripted speech, rehearsed and critiqued via video. These short-term, outcome-based coaching programs are often priced in the $2,000 to $5,000 range. There are, of course, pure hours for dollars coaches who usually do not have much of an info marketing business, if any. They may call themselves life coaches or performance coaches or business coaches. They basically marry unlicensed therapy with accountability with consulting. Some operate local businesses and meet in person with individual clients, very much as a psychologist does with patients, absent the couch and box of tissues. Others market nationally, whether broadly or niched or subcultured, mostly via online media, and deliver mostly in one-to-one telephone conversations. If you roam the web, You'll find people positioned as divorce coaches, relationship coaches, communication coaches, parenting coaches, anxiety coaches, sports performance coaches, business negotiation coaches, retirement transition coaches, and you name it. There are coaches in states where private burial is legal for people who want to be talked through the process of obtaining permits, casket, and other supplies to embalm and bury Grandpa behind a barn. To be brutally frank, the overwhelming majority of these life coaches have very small businesses. They hold purchase certifications, but have no basis for attracting clients and no base to ascend clients from. They have very limited ability or willingness to invest in marketing, and therefore make poor clients for you. There are exceptions to that rule, however, notably life coaching businesses that have, or their owners intend having, scalable operations, with one-to-one coaching delivered by an army of coaches in cubicles or working under contract from their homes. If you've noticed the author of the best-selling book, Attacking Anxiety, Lucinda Bassett, in radio commercials offering free audio CDs or free coaching sessions, she and her husband David, clients of mine at one time, developed and operate exactly this kind of business, and it is a big business. There's a similar weight loss coaching business built around a popular reality TV star that I'm sure you've seen. The other exception worth mentioning is the very high fee one-to-one coach who can afford to pay good copywriting fees. There is, for example, a woman, a psychologist and a lawyer and a former Fortune 500 executive, who quietly generates leads with small ads in a few publications and takes on executives and entrepreneurs dealing with difficult career and life decisions and issues at $2,000 an hour, $20,000 minimum. She has been a good client for a copywriter friend of mine. To be fair, the pure one-to-one coaches, such as life coaches, may well represent opportunity appropriate for relatively inexperienced copywriters as a place to cut teeth and generate work at modest fees. Nothing wrong with that. And if you can connect with a coach of this nature, who is interested in developing a more diversified info marketing business with you as guide and copywriter, this can be a path to a very good client. And the virtue of these life coaches is that there's a blue gazillion of them. They all have websites, so they're easily found, and most of them have badly written websites, emails, and sales material. But as a big, broad observation, the info marketers with coaching as part of a more complex and complete business make better clients. Finally, there is the category of done-for-them services. Within the info marketing industry, there is a whale of a lot of this because customers are lazy, poor students, busy, overwhelmed, and simply want things done for them. Many info marketers front for vendors and provide done-for-their customers services, including website development, online video production, customer newsletters, staff training, mystery shopping, even copywriting. There are also direct marketers of such services who either omit the information products, events, and coaching altogether, or move all that to back end. But for the most part, info marketers present portfolios of these services back end to already acquired customers. Of course, every such service needs copy to sell it. Again, we'll look at examples of typical info marketer sales copy driven marketing for each of these in Module 4. I've given you a second diagram depicting these basic back-end functions and tied back-end and front-end together. Finally, we have deliverables. A lot of this copy is not held as strictly accountable for direct sales results or return on investment, which means info marketers are willing to pay writers a lot less to provide it, but it requires less skill and is less stressful for many freelance writers. I have to note, though, that all the copy, all the content for an info marketer has at least underlying sales-related purposes, such as reinforcement of key teachings and positioning, demonstration of efficacy, references to products, and buildup of interest for forthcoming events or product launches. There is hardly any opportunity in this world for pure academic content writers, with the possible exception of technical manuals. With that in mind, I want to share something one of the grand masters of direct marketing of books, Melvin Powers, once explained to me, that has had me examining every book I read through a different prism ever since. We were discussing Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and Dr. Maxwell Maltz's book, Psycho-Cybernetics, both classic self-improvement books that have sold in the tens of millions of copies and continue to sell at least tens of thousands of copies every year, 74 and 51 years after first publication, even as thousands of other books of the same genre have come and disappeared into the dustbin. Melvin Powers said that Hill and Maltz did what few book authors grasp. They wrote sales letter style books, not book style books. If you will closely inspect these books with that in mind, you will discover that Mr. Powers is 1,000% correct. The books stop short of offering a product, instead selling the author's idea, but otherwise they masterfully utilize all the same elements and structure and style of a great sales letter as if they were leading up to the sale of a product. This reveals what info marketers themselves need to understand about all their deliverables, why ordinary writers are no good for them, what you need to bring to their deliverables, and what can make you more valuable to them than all other writers. By the way, studying Melvin Powers is worth doing. Although it is antiquated against today's media landscape, his book, How to Self-Publish Your Book and Make It a Bestseller, is still strategically sound and useful in full understanding of how to sell information. You will find it particularly relevant to the titles, subtitles, bullet points, and positioning of an info marketer's products. So, what are the deliverables? Pages 68 through 74 and 83 through 88 of the book given you with this program, the official Get Rich Guide to Information Marketing, gives you a grocery list of info products and details about some by category. Please read these pages as part of this module. We are hopefully arriving at a place of understanding of the enormous and expansive needs of info marketers for copywriting and writing. Creating an info business, as well as each product, seminar, and promotion within an info business, is basically an exercise in copywriting. If you secure a role as trusted go-to copywriter with a good-sized or fast-growth startup information marketing company, you can camp out there permanently. I would be remiss in not pointing out, though, that there is profound case to be made for the copywriter and writer who loves to write and is or gets adept at writing for info marketers' needs to step across the line and be their own client, creating, developing, and owning their own information marketing business. Since it is the kind of business where just about everything can be outsourced, you never need take on staff, office space, or overhead. Obviously, there's no competition for the writing assignments when you are client and writer. And unlike with trade of hours for dollars, this is a way you can create and own ongoing passive income or even equity to be cashed out via licensing and even sale of the business. With this program, you are given a trial membership in the Information Marketing Association, which is important if all you intend is writing for info marketers. Continuing that membership gives you access to important resources as well as opportunities to market yourself to info marketers as a writer. But if you get interested in also becoming an info marketer, then this is a double whammy. As an IMA member, you'll be receiving my No BS Info Marketing letter 6 times a year and my No BS Info Marketing special reports 6 times a year, invited to monthly calls, invited to IMA-hosted networking events at the major Kennedy conferences, and much more. There is also a specific resource I suggest you check into through IMA if you have interest in developing your own info marketing business, the A to Z Blueprints course, which can be taken as an online course. I want to briefly talk about the chief reason you should consider putting your writing skills and interest to work for you instead of for clients. It has to do with one of my Renegade Millionaire business and wealth strategies that I call present bank, future bank, and simultaneous deposits. You might relate it to work for hire versus owning income. Here's the explanation. With work for hire, you earn income, and then the ratio between what of that you spend and what of that you wisely and safely invest determines whether or not you ever become wealthy and to what extent. In this business, There is possibility of additional income from the same work through royalties, use or renewal of use fees, or other results-based incentives, but these tend to be relatively small and end. With your own info marketing business, you don't earn income, you own income, and that is a very different thing. But more importantly, you can make simultaneous deposits to both present and future banks. Present bank deposits are made with present-day income. Future bank deposits are made with acquired customers that you own that will be continuously valuable, from which a lot of income can be had in future months or years without having to create a customer anew. To look at it another way, as a freelancer, you write a successful front-end campaign that brings new customers to your clients. You are paid for that work, but he owns the customers and all the future income to be derived from those customers. Even if you're paid royalties above fee on the initial sales resulting from your sales letter, and even if it lives as a lasting control so that you get royalties every month from the new customers it brings the client every month, he still owns the customers and all the future income to be derived from those customers. He owns 100% of the future bank. It wouldn't exist without your work, but as a practical matter, you can't share in any of the bounty. I do currently have one client paying an override in perpetuity on all revenues he receives from every customer produced for him by my marketing, but that's an extremely rare situation. If you own the info business and therefore own the customers, and for example, every customer enters with a $100 purchase, and on average every customer is worth another $900 over a 36-month life, then every time your work brings in a new customer, you make a present bank deposit of $100, but simultaneously make a future bank deposit of $900. Same work, two deposits. The customer itself has equity, like an annuity, based on future income stream. Enough of them, plus evidence that by applying a lot more capital, a lot more could be had, plus intellectual property, equals a business saleable in whole or part. Keep in mind, all the business aspects of this are formulaic and can be learned, and virtually all the activity of implementing the marketing and delivering the purchased goods can be outsourced. The driving forces of this business are copywriting and content writing. I've been a freelance copywriter and writer for nearly my entire adult life, but I've also had myself for a client almost my entire adult life. I have lived very well because of the first, but I became wealthy because of the second. But there are other benefits of being your own client with your own info marketing business, even if you are interested only in a nice income, a lot of freedom, no boss, and opportunities to write. The biggest, you are more attractive to smart clients when you are seen also putting your money on the line, matched with your skills in your own successful info marketing business or projects. You also create more exclusivity because you are always busy with your own projects, so you are always in limited availability. You can be more selective about clients because you need them less. You can make more profitable use of the knowledge you acquire from your work for clients. You can't be fired, and you can write in a category that interests you. I am not advocating against your freelance writing. There is a lot to be said for just doing the writing, getting a fat check, and leaving all the other worries and headaches to someone else. Just know that you leave the bulk of the money to someone else too. Now we are almost done with this module, but for your homework assignments. If you feel a bit fatigued by it mentally, don't let that take your eyes off the prize. The ability to step into the info marketing world and establish ongoing working relationships with even a few of these obviously high-value clients is worth whatever brain strain and patient study and effort is required. Now to the additional homework. I would suggest visiting some very good info marketer websites, accessing whatever can be accessed there, requesting whatever can be requested, and seeing how it all fits into the different categories of copy needs and purposes discussed here. You can refer to info marketers discussed in Module 1 or in the official Get Rich Guide to Information Marketing book. And of course, check out Glazer Kennedy's marketing at the dankennedy.com site. Then take some other info marketers, chosen at random via Google searching a category of information or picking websites from ads in a particular trade or special interest or hobby magazine, and see for yourself what bases they have covered and what bases they're missing. What of their copy seems well crafted and what seems deficient. In short, compare the smart to the not so smart. I think you'll spot a whole lot of opportunity for copywriters. Don't hesitate to investigate niches you aren't part of if you are interested in them. You can put doctor in front of your name for this purpose without risk of arrest. And you will find some very good info marketers active in the chiropractic and dental professions. If you Google dental marketing, for example, much will be revealed. Next module, we'll be tackling the actual getting of info marketer clients, and we'll also take care of what you need to do to get your directory listing and promotion done for you to potential clients in the info marketing industry. One last thing. You should recognize that few info marketers' needs, as they perceive them, can be met by just any copywriter. In fact, most info marketers who experiment with outsourcing copywriting are quickly frustrated and often default to doing it all themselves, even at expense of not fully exploiting every opportunity their business offers and being well aware they aren't. This dual frustration, first, knowing they are failing to exploit every opportunity, plus, second, their quick disappointment with most copywriters, is definitely your golden opportunity. Most info marketers are A, extremely busy, B, candidly, also lazy and trying to make a lot of money without a commensurate amount of time and work, and C, impatient with employees and vendors who don't get it and require them acting as teacher or babysitter. What they want and believe they need are copywriters who already thoroughly understand the nature of their businesses. In truth, this may not be a real and legitimate need, at least for some of the copy they need written, but it is how they perceive their need, and it's their reality that matters. The complaints I hear from info marketers about copywriters who approach them or that they try out all center around this lack of preparedness and understanding of the nature of their businesses. This is even often true of copywriters who have companies like Nightingale Conant, Rodale, Agora, and Boardroom, and other publishers on their resumes. The info marketers operating with sophisticated business models, notably featuring the Kennedy model, do not feel these companies are close brethren, only distant kin. Most info marketers are going to place at least as much importance on the writer's ability to speak their business language, thus evidencing understanding of the nature of their business, as they are on the displayed copywriting skill via portfolio samples and client credentials. That's why only the last of the 4 modules of this program actually directly deals with writing. You don't get to write for clients you don't have and cannot get. A single, modest-sized info marketer client can, for a copywriter at modest fee level, giving that copywriter only some of their needs, easily be worth $25,000 or more during a year. It only requires 4 such clients to crack 6 figures in yearly income. Just 4. That's why this program you are participating in is so valuable and merits your effort invested in it and beyond it to get your foothold as a freelancer in this industry.